very excited to introduce to you our keynote speaker for this morning, Miles Merrill. Miles has various titles: poet, performer, creator, director, and facilitator. But perhaps another fair descriptor would be to say that he's passionate about his craft. And it is that passion that has seen Miles as the driving force behind spoken word and performance poetry in Australia for 17 years. Miles is the founder of the National Performing Writers Program, Australian Poetry Summit, the creative director of the literary arts organisation Word Travels, and has created literary and literacy programs for a variety of public and private organisations. Not only does Miles do exceptional work behind the scenes and at grassroots levels, but he also continues to tour worldwide to perform at festivals, theatres, galleries, and today it is my pleasure to welcome Miles to our humble stage to present the 2016 Radioactive Conference Keynote Address. Please welcome Miles.
Thank you very much. That was a poem called Some Sounds Cannot Be Written Down, and it illustrates why I'm passionate about what I do. Is this live experience, looking people in the eye, where anything can happen, human to human. And I do actually love translating that into all kinds of broadcasting, video, and audio. But I, usually deliver a workshop or a talk, and there's some question and answer at the end. There won't be that today, but I will answer two questions that I get asked very often. One of the first questions that some of you might relate to is, where are you from? And one time I answered from America, and the next question was, where are you really from? I'm from Chicago. Where are your parents from? Chicago. No, you know what I mean. Where are they really from? What's your background? Well, my dad is African-Irish and my mother is British and Italian. Oh my. Let's see. And this was literally an answer I got during a break in a workshop. Oh wow, what did you say? African-Irish, British and Italian. Let's see, African. Well, that's the African. Then you've got the Irish. Well, that's the drunk or the comedian. Then you've got the Italian. Well, let's see, that's the love of old-fashioned design. And then you've got the British. That's the conservative. I wonder how you must think with all those things going on. So I go ahead. And it's just like, And the second question that I get asked very often, and always the answer is no. Can I touch your hair? Not going to happen. So I'm glad I got those two questions out of the way. But I'll tell you, I started out as an actor when I was in high school. And your drama teacher tells you can go out and do anything. You can be anybody. You can be Tom Cruise, or in my case, he was from Texas, so he said Denzel Washington. Kind of putting me into that sort of stereotype right away. But I went out for an audition, my first professional audition, and I started reading for a play called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I was on the stage, and the director stopped me after a few lines and said, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm reading for the lead." And he said, "Well, I'm sorry, but the lead is not black." And I'm like, "Well, it doesn't say that in the script." "Well, the man's name is Murphy, therefore he must be Irish." "Oh, well, how does that explain Eddie?" "Excuse me? Eddie Murphy." And he was like, "Well, regardless, we have you down as gender 1, gender 2, or the Indian guy." And that's when I realized that any emotion that was going on inside of me, any ideas, any creativity, any imagination, would never be revealed if I waited for idiots to cast me. And that perhaps actors are elaborate puppets for other people's ideas. So I switched my major from theater to English literature, began writing, and when I came to Australia, I happened to be in a relationship with a theater director. And one night she was like, "You just get up on that stage and just read something from your notebook at an open mic." And I did that, and fortunately after that, someone came up to me and said, "Can you do that at my pub next Monday and I'll give you $50. So I started this career of just doing spoken word, because that kind of snowballed into a band, and then that toured around Australia and around America, and eventually I set up a national performing writers program called the Australian Poetry Slam, and set up this literary arts organization called Word Travels. And it literally does travel. I've gone to almost every town in Australia, and often I'll go to a place like Kempsey, and I'll be at a high school, and I'll say, "What's Kempsey like?" And they'll go, "It's a hole." Broken Hill at the high school, literally, I was like, "What's Broken Hill like?" It's a big hole in the ground. Wagga, there was a really smart kid in this class. He said, "Wagga, such a hole that echoes. Wagga, Wagga." But then I was in Menindee, and Menindee is a suburb of Broken Hill. If you can imagine, Broken Hill has a suburb. And I was performing in front of the entire high school, 17 kids. And I said, "Okay, what do you got? What's Menindee like? It's a hole. What do you do for fun? Drink beer." I was like, "No, you're 12. You don't." "Oh, you do. Okay. What about, has anybody here ever eaten kangaroo before?" And they looked at me like, "What are you, ridiculous?" "Yeah, mate, we eat kangaroo." "Okay, good. What about emu?" "Yes." "What is this? Ridiculous." "Yeah, we eat emu." "Okay, great. Has anybody here ever killed an emu before?" And 6 kids raised their hand. Out of 17, I thought that was pretty good. So keep your hand up if you killed an emu with your bare hands. One kid still had his hand in the air. Like, "Seriously, you killed an emu? The emu's this tall?" And they're like, "This tall?" He's like, "Oh, it's too easy, mate. Driving down the highway with my dad, sitting in the car, and there's an emu running alongside the highway, and the bush is a bit dense, and there's a barbed wire fence, so the emu couldn't get back into the bush, and so my dad pulls up alongside the emu, and rolls down the power line on my side, and says, 'Son, reach out and grab the emu by the neck.' I did, reached out, grabbed it by the neck, held on to it, started pecking it on the emu, but by the time we got home, it was dead, so we plucked it and ate it. And I was sitting there going, been to New York, been to London, been to Paris, I ain't never heard nothing crazy like that before. And so I thought this should be really interesting, guys. All you have to do is write about what you did on Friday night, because it'll be totally different from anything that happens in Sydney or Chicago. And I go around, and the same student has written, "Shut my homies up, there was only hanging with me for the bling bling, now I gotta sing. What is that?" "Oh, Sarah, I was trying to write a rap like Snoop Dogg, you'd be a black and white, but let me give you some feedback." Like, "Well, actually, what did you do on Friday night?" "Oh, I was pouring as went to a dance at the youth center, there was no ladies there, so I couldn't get no play." "You're 12. And my friend did pick me up about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was sitting in the back of the youth, I was supported a roof, and on the roof, and stopped myself to my 22, and shot it in the head for a scout. I jumped off the back of it. You went over and clubbed it in the head with the butt of my gun. And my granddad came out and dug a hole in the ground and built a fire, and then you put rocks on top of the fire, and the rocks get really hot, and then you got the wood and you wrap it up in leaves and you bury it and make like a little oven. Write that down. Nobody else in the world experiences anything like that. You might get an opportunity one day to go to New York and talk to somebody, but if you tell them, "I shut my homies up, I was only hanging with me for the bling bling, now I gotta sing, they'll think you're an idiot, a faker, a poser." But if you say, "I shot a rule in the head with my 22, jumped off the back of my ute, went over to the rule and clubbed it in the head with the butt of my rifle because it was still kicking," they will take you home, introduce you to your grandmother, give you really bad coffee, say, "This is my new friend from Austria, I don't know why he speaks English." But my point is that here you are in Sydney, in the center of Sydney, coming from all these various areas, and a 12-year-old's experience, completely unique to him. He doesn't value it, doesn't think that it's important. His life is totally boring, nothing happened, and yet all of you got an absolute kick out of his 2 experiences with the emu and hunting. And obviously, Australia has this stereotype of, outback adventures, but each of us has our own stories. Like, nobody knows what happens in, Dulwich Hill. If you go to London, Paris, wherever, they don't know what happens in your community. You've got to figure out, well, how do I get my story to the world and tell the stories of the people around me? Because it's the stories that will draw people in. It's not the platitudes, not the didactic statements about racism and multiculturalism. It's actually finding the real experiences and figuring out, how do I get those experiences out to the world? And obviously with the internet, it's so easy. You can record somebody, get them to tell you their story, turn it into something within minutes. And then the world does know about what happens in your community. And that's our role. We have to be storytellers ourselves and figure out what is my story? I mean, because each of us basically is the hero of our own story, even if we're evil. You know, we believe that we're the hero of our own story. So you've got to figure out, well, package that, turn it into something. And it's one of the easiest things to do these days. I'll give you just a closing performance, because this was inspired by my own experience of racism in Australia. I was walking in Adelaide, and I had only been in the country for about 3 weeks. I'd been to Sydney and Melbourne and Tasmania, and there I was in Adelaide, and it was a night just after some fireworks, and I found myself walking back to my hostel on a quiet little side street, and I heard someone scream out, "Ow! Ella! Go home!" And I just kept walking, thinking, I don't know anybody in Adelaide, I don't know what he's talking about, I continued to walk. But I kind of looked around and I realized I'm the only person on the street, so maybe he's talking to me, I don't know. But he said again, "Hey, Ella! Go home now!" And I went, turned around and I went, "Sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I've never heard the term yabbo before. I've been to Tasmania recently and I've seen yabbies. Is that like a male yabby, which is a yabbo, and then you've got a female yabby, which is a yabba? Is it like Spanish?" And he's like, "Right, you're from the States. Oh, where you from? Oh, Chicago. Hey, how's about them Bulls, eh? Grab all your Coopers, mate." And it was this 180-degree turn that just turned my stomach. You know, I just thought, can I punch this man in the face? But then I went back and I was working in a cafe in Glebe. My boss would say to me every day, "Mate, wind the till, go down to the basement." She never had those rub me. And I'm thinking, "Oh, you're racist. But, you know, I was getting my $15 an hour cash in hand to make coffee. So I thought, as soon as he leaves and there's no customers around, I'll just sit down and write some poetry. And that is what I did. I did not sweep, I did not polish anything. I just sat down and wrote for $15 an hour poetry. And so I wrote this piece in response to those two experiences. I was working this cafe right over on Devonshire Street. Place get about 15 customers in 8 hours. Manager walks in. "Yo, Mr. Big Man, what up?" Man had the nerve to say to me, "Hey, tell you to sit down, mate." I stayed seated. I said, "Forget that. I ain't seen a single customer up here in over an hour. Punk ain't gonna be running my little butt up and run up in here and nobody up in here. You know what I'm saying?" And you should have seen his big old Australian jaw just about like dropped to the floor. Right? I figured we was gonna have to duke it out. But old boy changed his tone. He come out with, "Mate, why don't you get me on the counter? Got a piece of mud cake. Make me flat white with back there." Well, I ain't stupid, right? I mean, I am getting paid. So I do. Real works, nice. Give me one of them butcher knives. You know, the kind we used to cut cakes with. And I dish him out a piece. Dish me one out too. Sit back down and say, "Sorry, but your mama made you a flat white. Ain't nothing I can do about that." And I started with my cake, right? Now he's steady standing there, steady clocking me. I look up and say, "What you looking at? I'm turning my cake over here." Pick up that knife and start trimming it. You can see the fear in his eyes, the rage in his lips. He come up with something crazy like, you call that a knife, you call that a knife, you call that a knife, that's not a knife, that's not a knife, this is a knife, that's not a knife, this is a knife. He just keep repeating it, you know, like one of the robots when they got too much power. Surgeon through the circuits, exterminate. I mean, I knew old Walker was crazy, but he never pulled no crocodile Dundee stuff from me before. You know, my bottom lip stopped poking out. You say, "You're about integrity, right?" Like I was fixing to say, "What you talking about with this old swag wearing outback red dirt redneck up to jump me when one of them Aboriginal fellas walks in the door, right, looking like you've been out for last night, kind of scraggly, you know, you don't see no knife, no." Walk right up to Whitey's piece of cake laying on the table while he helping himself, while he eating it up, and say, "Hey, this cake back. This cake." Boss man turned around, knife in them pudgy little hands, and he come out like a damn freight train. You black beast, get out. Like some rhino on the front lines of a hallucination. Homeboy come up with something crazy like, "Hey, get up, go home. Hey, get up, go home." I guess it was something about seeing a black man stabbed through the hand by a white man that shocked me out my jacket. I get up, I grab that raging boss by the back, him out. You know what I'm saying? Kick racism out of the World Cafe just in time for the number 378 bus. Ding, 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 ding. Turn around and wipe his hair grease off my hands, and brother man, Aboriginal, he ain't never so like a victim. Nah. He's out the back door with a whole mud cake in the good hand. Bottle of Coca-Cola in the bleed hand. All the cash register money spilling out of his pockets, and dude is laughing as he runs down the alleyway. And I mean, like he runs down the alleyway like everything in this country belongs to him. Or he belongs to everything in this country. Maybe he's right. What do I know? I'm just a stereotype, right? I just go over to the refrigerator, get me a little piece of chicken, pick up my basketball, start dribbling my way out the door. But wait, back it up. Gotta pick up that chair, throw that through the window, start a riot, and write the next rap hit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miles.